Hi, everyone. I've had a lot of questions about the Webtoon contest. A lot of people asking if I thought it was worth it and if I was going to submit my comic to it. I am not going to enter it, but I thought that I would go through the rules and just give you a place to go and see what the deal is with the Webtoon contest. So, Webtoon contest runs until November 16th of 2018. It started in June, so we're about 2 months into it. Best story wins $80,000 in total, which is quite a big chunk of change here. So it looks like it's got four categories. They've divided up the genres into four distinct categories. We've got most gripping, which thriller, horror, supernatural, mystery and crime. Most laughs, comedy, slice of life. Epic includes fantasy, sci-fi, action, superhero, and most feels, drama and romance. And the interesting thing here is how they've divided this up. 5 minimum episodes. So you've got a minimum episode requirement and a minimum panels per episode. So the most gripping, it looks like if you have an epic story, they're looking for 4 episodes at least and a minimum of 35 or more panels. But most only get 12 panels, 8 episodes, you have to have more episodes. I'd be interested to know why it's divided up this way. I'm sure it's probably taken from the average of what these typically are. But if you're going to enter, you've got to make sure you fulfill these requirements. You've got to have the right number of episodes and panels per episode. And everybody knows that Webtoon, if you're watching this video, well, if you're not, Webtoon is formatted differently than a typical comic. It scrolls vertically, and it's formatted basically for your phone. Let's go down here. We got a round 1, which is what we're in now until September 13th. So you submit your entries to Discover. If you're not sure what Discover is, there are 2 categories categories of creators. One is the creator who is the random person off the street who did a comic. They want to put it up on Webtoon. Anybody can. And you submit your entry to what's called the Discover program. That is in contrast to the featured artists, which have specific contracts with Webtoon. So they get paid by Webtoon. Webtoon acts as their publisher, their editor, and that's essentially that being a featured artist is one of the awards for winning this. You get the option, but we'll get to that in just a second. So you have until 13th to start, and then out of all these people who are submitting things to Discover, 8 contenders are selected from this for round 2. So 2 from each of the 4 categories. Each contender, if you make the first round, gets $5,000 plus, let's see what we got here, an invitation to the Webtoon Green Room Party at the New York Comic Con. The New York Comic Con is in October, at the end of October, I think, mid-October. I should know that because I'm going to be there. You also get an offer to become a featured creator on Webtoon. So you get that paying deal. They basically act as a publisher and they pay you and they work out a contract. And then assistance from the editors. They'll look at your comic. They will give you advice, maybe do some corrections on grammar, text, things. Do what editors do. So on round 2, it looks like that goes through the end of October. So 8 contenders publish at least 2 episodes, and then 4 finalists are selected, 1 from each of those 4 categories. So we're boiling down to the last person standing in each of these 4 categories. And you get to the finalists. Each finalist wins $25,000. So this would be in addition to the $5,000 up here. So you're at $30,000 if you win this. Before taxes, of course. So you make the final round. These 4 finalists publish at least 1 episode within this time frame, the 6th to the 14th of November. And on the 16th, 2 days after, the grand prize winner is announced. And that grand prize winner gets $50,000. So you get $5,000 for the first round, If you make the second round, that is. And then 25,000 plus the 50, that is the 80. So there are some things that they're judging here: level of engagement, how well your audience responds. I'm sure that is in contrast to how many have subscribed to your story. Judge assigned scores. Let's see what this is saying here. You get certain judges are going to assign points for strong characters and plot, genre-specific attributes. So you have to stay within that genre. Like if you're a romance comic and suddenly you go all sci-fi, that you're going to lower your points there. Pacing, clarity. Pacing is well, in this particular way that it's formatted, Webtoon, how fast the story moves from panel to panel, how readable it is, how clear it is to see what's going on. So this is, it's open. You can do it right now, but let's go in here and look at the contest official rules. So this is the little thing that most everybody reads, but let's dig a little deeper and see what the deal is. Oh, I'm going to zoom in here. There we go. All right, see if anything interesting. This is all the no purchase necessary, so it's not gambling, I'm assuming. It tells who, what, when. Basically, all we went through. It's open worldwide, which makes sense because they are a Korean company and they are worldwide on the internet. You can be an individual or a group of authors, but only individuals at least 14 years as of June are eligible, unless you have permission from a parent or guardian. So if you are under 14, make sure that you have told your parents or guardian. Looks like a lot of this is the same thing over and over that we just went through, laying out all episode content must be submitted in English. So if you have a non-English web comic that you are considering submitting, it will be disqualified. And then this is the usual JPEG files, 800 by 1280, which is a question a lot of people have. This is basically the standard for Webtoon. You have to own the copyright. You can't submit something else that you do not own. And any comic episode that was previously published or made public may be submitted provided there are no third-party agreements. Okay, so if you've already published something, it can also be part of the contest. Okay, let me reread that again just to make sure. Any comic episode that was previously published or made public may be submitted, provided there are no third-party agreements or engagements that prohibit its publication through Webtoon or this contest. So if you have a website, so my website for my comic is williammolass.com. I also have it on Webtoon. It's been published there. It is okay to publish it also here because I have no agreements with anybody else as far as publishing it online. Now, the stuff that I've already published on Webtoon, I'm imagining would not count. You can't go back and say, hey, look at my comic, and did not have, it has to be submitted within this time frame. I am pretty sure, but let's keep reading. Submission must be original work. Yes, you've already said that. May not use stock materials from others. So if your comic is using material you got from something else, another comic, another source, any image you don't own will disqualify you. That includes pictures, photos, and things. So be real careful about what you're using. If you use clip art, that would probably violate that as well if the clip art is copywritten. You can't have symbols, brand names, slogans, third party of any kind. You know, you can't have Coca-Cola in there. So you can't have any offensive, pornographic, sexually explicit, unlawful, plagiarized. So, and then all the stuff, vulgar, obscene, all these things. So got to keep it pretty reader audience friendly. And now what is this? It's, may not include viruses, worms, corrupt files, Trojan horses. Well, if you're going to use your Webtoon as a, if you're a hacker and you're just going to use this, you'll be disqualified. Did they have a problem with this? I mean, why? Okay, they had to spell that out. A sponsor reserves the right at any time to verify the validity of entries and disqualify. So they're going to check on what they can. If you tamper with the, if you screw with the entry process, they can check up on you. That's all that's saying. So how do you enter? You go to this website right here. Let me highlight that so we can see it a little better. Webtoons.com challenge publish. That's where you go to submit your comic. Follow the on-screen instructions. So it looks like you can't just, you're not automatically in it just because you're on Webtoon. You have to publish through this. Rights, obligations, and warranties. You agree, you or your team, your creative team associated with you own. Okay, and this is a question a lot of people have with Webtoon. Take your rights. The entrance or team of entrants associated with each submission owns and shall retain the copyright to the submission. So, Webtoon is not taking the rights to your comic. They're letting you put it on their website, and they are not taking your rights. Okay, I get that a lot. That's important. This is anytime you submit to any website. This is the thing you want to look for. That you retain your rights. That's very important. Never give your rights away unless you've got just a phenomenal deal and you're going to, get a lot of money, more than $80,000, which is a lot of money. But if they're willing to pay $80,000, there's something up. You could probably get more somehow. Anyway, each work submitted will remain the exclusive property of its authors. Again, very important, and that's a good thing for the creators. Submitting comic episodes, it looks like if you submit it, the thing that Webtoon can do is they can post it around the site. And if it's a prize-winning work, it may be posted on the server. The service is Webtoon. Basically, you're granting Webtoon a non-exclusive worldwide and royalty-free right to use your story. So, and edit, modify, adapt the submission in connection with the service. So they can use your comic to promote Webtoon and the contest. All right, but you still own the rights. You have 30 days to formally accept Lion Webtoon's offer to become a featured series. So if you become the winner, you have 30 days to decide if you want to be featured. You don't have to have it. You can reject it or you can take it. And you have read and agree with the Lion Webtoon terms and agreements, which people typically hit I agree and never read. But that's why we're here. We're just going to dig in and see what's going on here. Each individual, again, this is all kind of repetitive. You own it. It's not prohibited from being submitted. It doesn't violate the rules. This is basically just it has to be yours. And the thing is, if you make your own comic and you own it and you haven't plagiarized it and you just upload it, you'll be fine. This is all the legalese their lawyers made them. Skill-based contest plays no part. Chance plays no part in the determination of the winners. So they're just talking about how they're going about judging. Kind of already went for. Okay, so here's a good thing, because this kind of goes into some more detailed ways of talking about what they're looking for as far as formatting. And this is in general. This applies also to Webtoon in general. So they're giving points. Of course, they're staying in the genre and all that. Narrative, having a good plot and characters, but readability is the story is easy to read on a mobile device. This would disqualify my comic because I haven't divided it up. Mine's a traditional comic that I just put up here as a extra, and I haven't formatted it. So I would lose this, and I just don't have enough time to go back and format it. The story is delivered clearly and easy to follow. That's clarity. Pacing is it's easy to scroll and makes the audience want to click the next chapter. So pacing, it's easy to see what's going on. It's easy to this is easy to read format wise. This really means easy to read as far as you're reading a story, you know what's going on and you want more. Then just talking about maximum points you can get. Let me see if there's anything more. I don't think. It's just saying, you know, if you win, then you need to continue to comply in a timely return of documents. You have time periods. If again, this is the way. If you win, you need to sit down and really read this, because you get 2 notifications, and then you can be disqualified if you don't. If you win and you don't respond to their, you know, their emails and their documents they need from you. The prizes, again, the money. We went through that. Well, no, there's a trip in here that was not mentioned before. Where is? The New York Comic Con thing. So, looks like you arranged travel with. Let's see. I guess you are. Oh yeah, the trip consists of round trip coach air transportation. So they're going to fly you up to New York Comic Con. Let's see here. What is this? Okay. No substitutions. This is just the, you know, legalese for what they're going to award and things. So if you win, come back and read the terms and conditions. But general prize, if you're not able to travel, and this is getting into the weeds here of the rewards, the trip will not be awarded to the person, and the remainder of the prize will constitute the entirety. Yeah, you know, if you can't go on the trip, well, then you can't go on the trip. This is just talking about, okay, this is kind of boring. This doesn't really have to do with much of anything to submit to it. You can't hold them responsible for things, privacy policies. And of course, you know, this is the thing where if you're under 14, you need to have permission. They would rather you not be under 14, it sounds like. And that the sponsor, Webtoon, will collect your name, address, and personal identifying information, which will only be used for the delivery of prize and for no other purpose. So if they're going to ask you for name and address and things, it's just saying they're not going to abuse it. They're not going to sell it to, you know, some spam account or anything. So more terms, and then general liability release. Now this is just getting to like kind of standard things. So there we go. This bottom part is more if you win, then go back and read this bottom part. But that's pretty much it. That is pretty much all that. I'm gonna look at this. Oh, I gotta log in. I have not logged in at the moment. All right, so those are the rules. Those are the basics. You really don't have anything to lose by not doing this. And like I said, people have asked me if I'm going to. I'm not. My book, William the Last, which you can read on Webtoon if you search for William the Last, it's not formatted right, and so that's just the way it is. And I've got too much to do that. But I hope that this might help you understand the contest a little better. And if you submit, good luck. I hope you win.